Welcome everyone to another Wizards pregame. This is the last one we'll have before the All-Star break. We got Cardell Dudley Jr., Aaron Wilson, Darby Jr. Cardell, the Washington Wizards are visiting the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. The Cavs are riding a four-game win streak into this matchup. They're currently 7 games behind Detroit in that race for the Central Division, and they're fourth overall in the East. The Wizards are coming off back-to-back losses to the Nets and the Heat. Miami dominated that game in nearly every aspect a couple of days ago. You and Ray shared your thoughts on that one. This is the third of four matchups this season between these two teams. All right, Cardell's a really big number about this thing right here. Cleveland is averaging 139 points a contest, whereas Washington through 2 games. They put up 148 in the first matchup and then 130 in the second. As far as the injury report goes, Alex Sarr, Tristan Vukovic, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Davis, Ken Whitmore all out. For Washington, while Cleveland will be without Dean Wade, Evan Mobley, and Max Strus. Even with what Cleveland's missing, Cardell, they have more than enough over there. What are the keys to tonight's game for Washington?
They got their hands full. That's an understatement. Outside of the situation, what was going on as far as draft position and all that. They really have to. They really gonna have to guard excellent all over the floor, especially out of pick and roll sets. We all know James Harden is a master at manipulating defenses, especially coming off pick and rolls, finding open shooters, and the bigs rolling to the basket. He's a master at that, and then you got to worry about him getting his. You know what I mean? And that backcourt with him and Donovan Mitchell, I think that trade was huge. It's going to make Cleveland different because it takes the ball out of Donovan's hands where you don't have to make so many plays and think a lot, and he can just do what he do best and just score. And James can kind of do what he do best, set things up and just pick and choose when he scored and when he's trying to find guys. So for me, it starts with James Harden. I know Donovan's obviously the franchise player, leading scorer, but you got to disrupt him. Disrupting him will disrupt other things that they trying to do offensively. And you gotta start that. You got to start there with him right now. He's coming in averaging 22.5 points, 7.5 assists, 6 rebounds, 48, 46, 100 splits. That's crazy that this man, James, since he's came to the Cavs, he's shooting 100% from the line. But that's what I mean. You got to disrupt him. We all know his best gift is the playmaking stuff. So the Wizards guards or whoever they put on them, they might go with a big wing. We'll see when the game starts, like Keyshawn or something, Bilal. I think they say he's available. They might go with him on them to try to disrupt him. You got to pressure him at all times. You got to get over screens. You got to stay sound because he's great again to the free throw line. He can bait you. And you just got to contest and really just make him earn everything and just live with the results. That's what you could do with great players, man. Especially with the talent he got around him. It's hard to trap. Get to why later. It's a difficult matchup. So for the Wizards, they're going to have to win the individual matchup, but it starts with disrupting him. We all know about his defensive woes overall. So sometimes a strong, defense may be a strong offense. Attack him on the other end, make him work. You know what I'm saying? And that can disrupt him because he's tired. And, off the level, it can disrupt him. We're trying to set things up for the Cavs, man. So you gotta stay glued to him. You gotta stay locked in on him all night. And one thing, I wanted to see if the Wizards do, whoever's guarding him, Jameer probably see him. I mean, he's gonna see probably a lot of bodies. Take something away. You know what I mean? Like, fine, if he gonna score, don't let him get like 10 assists. If he get 20, 25, 30 points with the 10 assists, you have no chance. But if you get 25 and he got like 4 assists or something, you might still have a chance because that means other people have to work extra hard to try to get theirs. And that pretty much mean you in the game. So that would be my thing for James Harden. But yeah, you got he's fit right in as soon as he's came. Donovan Mitchell, what can we say? He's one of those guys on the list of Wizards killers since we've been covering the team. Going back to his Utah Jazz days, man, averaging 29, shooting 48, 37, 85, shooting from shooting splits for the season. It's ridiculous. But he's also averaging just under 6 assists and 4.5 rebounds, 1.5 steals, man. Super explosive, super strong. When he gets tunnel vision, decides he wants to score, he's very tough to stop. Strong defender. Maybe not the best as far as rotations and trying to get over screen so much all the time. Depending on what's going on, he can pick and choose with that. But his strength and his athleticism. He's short. 215-pound frame and how explosive he is, and obviously his experience and stuff. He gets it done on that, so he's not easy to attack. You know what I mean? So for the Wizards, they got to try to make him inefficient because he's gonna get his shots, especially hard, and he's gonna get his attempts up. But you got to make him inefficient. So anytime he catch the ball, if he even just blink and look at the dang basket, man, you should be all over him contesting and whatnot. Because he's the key. James, like I said, you got to disrupt him. But obviously, the first option he's looking at is Donovan Mitchell. So whoever's playing on him, you probably going to have to defend excellent off the ball. You're going to have to be in perfect position to deny, watch for the back door. You want to fight over a bunch of screens. You got your work cut out for you, whoever it is that's guarding him tonight. And you got to make him work. You got to really make him work where James be like, I can't get him the ball. And then get him frustrated and stuff like that, get him pressing. When he press, you got a chance. That's what can make him inefficient. And so, then on the other end, you got to take good sound shots. He's a good, stocky, strong on-ball defender, but he's short. So bigger wings, you can get your shot over him. So take your shots, get to your spots, and just shoot over him and make him work on that end. Again, tired legs are tired legs. Tired legs will impact them on offense, so that you're helping your case if you play sound fundamental offense as well. You execute well, you get to your spots, and you hit shots, because it's going to make them have to rethink some things and adjust as well. But yeah, that backcourt is lethal with the amount of experience and talent that they have and the all-around impact that they have in the game. The Wizards don't find a way to – you're not going to stop them, but keep them contained. They have no chance, and that's just being real. So we're going to move on. Jared Allen. Jared Allen is probably the player on the Cavs most happy to see James Harden come, because it's a lot of times throughout the season, sometimes even when we see him when they play the Wizards, they forget he's a capable big that can score. And if you just set him up and get him the ball in his spots, especially inside, he can do a lot of things. He's good in the post. He's good at generating fouls. He's good as a lob threat, offensive rebounds. And he's pretty decent posting up. It's just that a lot of people don't know that because he don't really get enough attempts. Like, say, he's not featured like a lot of other bigs. But he got a bunch of jump hooks and a variety of moves on the block, footwork. He can finish with either hand, 5'8" feet. So he's capable. But we all know his bread and butter is rim protection. And he's going to have to do that because, look, like I said, James is not the best defender. And, we know his reputation. Donovan, he's short. He's explosive, but he's short. So if guys can get past him or get a chance, he get held up on the screen, they turn it downhill. And it's all on him. And as you can see, he's elites at all of that. Post defense, rim protection, altering shots, anything. Rotations over. It's not going to be an easy win. So Sar and them boys got their work cut out for him. Like when you get him, you get him off out of position, score. Because you're not going to get a second chance if you even get the first chance. So I think, but also be defensively, be aware of the lob threat. He's going to eat off Harden. So you looking at, I know they got sets already drawn up where like Saul might see Donovan Mitchell flash across and it might delay him. And now Jared Allen rolling to the basket for the lob. And you know what I mean? And little stuff like that. It don't take much. A few of those plays is going, the distrust going to kick in. And now the Wizards defense all over the place. And now it's just a good team just picking you apart, just manipulating what you're trying to do to find the matchup that they want and just exploiting it. So, you got to be wary of him, man. And, last but not least, we can't ignore him. We got to talk about Keon Ellis, who got traded over. His role from Sacramento, his role is different, but he's mainly a 3-and-D guy, but he's disruptive. And they're going to need him because, like I said, when James is not the best defender, when if they play together, which I'm sure they will, he's probably gonna have to get the point guard. Whoever the point guard that James normally will guard, or the best perimeter threat, he's probably the guy that's gonna be on him. And he's a pest. You know, he can move his feet. He's just a very disciplined, sound, formidable defender. And then on top of that, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, he's a capable 3-point shooting, even though his numbers have dipped this year for whatever reason. With the I ain't gonna say this year. He was shooting well in Sacramento, but I think he's trying to get acclimated with the Cavs. So with the Cavs over a couple games, he's shooting 33%. I think he's just trying to figure out his role, get comfortable within his role. But overall, this season, he would shoot 36% before the trade. But for his career, he shoot 41% from deep. So you got to guard him. He's also a 3-and-D guy. He can guard multiple positions, ones and twos, some threes. He's effective doing that. He causes deflections. He causes turnovers. He can disrupt you out there on the perimeter. And if you lose him, he can bury you with his shot making. And he can put the ball on the floor, do a lot of things. It just hasn't been asked of him. You know what I mean? Playing with De'Aaron Fox and Russ, now with James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, he just hasn't been on the team where he get the chance to do this. So you gotta be wary of him. I wanted to shout him out because obviously he came over to trade, and he's gonna be huge for these guys. He's gonna have to be for these guys as they make their postseason run or whatnot. But he's definitely somebody that the Wizards got to key in on and deal with, because these are the type of games where role players thrive because they see a young team that's struggling. You know what I mean? Let me go to work. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna expect the starters to hit them hard with the haymaker early, rock them. And then these guys gonna come in and finish them off. So, you gotta be aware of that. But all in all, man, the Wizards got their work cut out for them, and they're gonna really have to buckle down, play both ends, man. And show some type of winning effort. Even though we know the situation, it's a lot of guys still playing for job security, and roles within the team moving forward. You know what I mean? And maybe not with this team, probably with another team. So they still have something they need to be playing for, in spite of what's going on. So we're going to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like you said, with James coming over, Jared Allen's about to be so annoying.
Yes.
Like, every big James has played with, since he left OKC, that's not discrediting that. Just saying since he's not been left that 3 that they had over here, he's been on his own, so to speak. Every big he's had, like his 8, when he's done his thing. Capella went crazy in Houston. He wasn't the only one. Just even with the Clippers, when Zubac was healthy, Zubac was eating out there with him. And then you got these two athletic bigs. Here, I know Mobley's out, but they had to be excited hearing that James Harden said it over because he's the guy, unlike other guards they played with, that he's always going to know you're open. He's always going to understand the gravity or how many people he's pulling away from him, and be aware of where you are. Not just that he's pulling you, but pulling your man away. But he's doing it for you. So it's just, like you said with the James trade, like his playmaking kind of, it takes a load off of so many other people, especially for Donovan. Like, you can play make, but that's not your thing. Now it's not forced. Now it's if you make plays, it's cool. It's not a big issue. Where this is legit elite, like put the ball in his hands, everybody's gonna be fine. And even at this stage, in his career, like still a hell of a playmaker. So I'm right with you. You gotta disrupt him. Otherwise, it's gonna be a really long night. And if they were averaging, they were averaging 130 points against the Wizards so far this season, that was pre-James.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's an upgrade over Darius Garland, obviously, durability. James bigger. He's 6'5". That's a big point guard. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Darius is kind of small. He does his. And just have to throw out there before we get out, Alex Sarr, Tristan Vucevic. outs. So they're going extremely small. I just saw the starting lineup. It's Bub, Keyshawn, Trey. Keyshawn and Jameer Watkins. Yeah. So.
And lastly, I was going to say with James, keep in mind what he did earlier this year against the Wizards when he was with the Clippers.
Yeah.
He came in the cap one and
Went crazy.
went nuts.
That one quarter. Yeah, that one quarter.
Yeah, like went absolutely bonkers. But y'all enjoy the game. Cardell laid out the keys. We'll check with you guys afterwards. The Wizards over.